Yeah. So tell me about your sleep strategy for these. I think this is going to be really informative for our audience because that's one of the things I've really honed in on in terms of advising fat adapted athletes. Like be really strategic about your sleep, and you either got to go really short dirt naps when they're called for, but really you want to try to get more sleep. And Peter got almost 9 hours of sleep.
Wow. Must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Monster, I think that we probably had about 6 hours total sleep. Jackie is the general as always, and we don't sleep really more than an hour and a half. Hour and a half is maybe happens once or twice, and that's considered the hard stop. But most of the time, when we come into an aid station, it's like we're just going to take 20 minutes. And so I will immediately lay down, close my eyes while Jackie crew removes shoes, gaiters, socks. They clean the feet and then they put, a Tiger Balm on my feet. And for the next however many minutes that I sleep, that Tiger Balm is kind of working. But I would say the same for Cocodona. I think Cocodona was actually closer to like maybe 5.5 hours of sleep. So you have to listen to your body, but I definitely wouldn't sleep for longer than an hour and a half. And I say an hour and a half, I think when I think I'm sleeping for an hour and a half, I think Jackie actually sets her watch for 45 minutes. And that's some of the longest sleeps that I'll take.
Because with Chad and with Peter, we were doing hour to hour and a half hard sleeps, right?
Yeah.
And what I would do is and this is something for Jackie to keep in mind for the future, is like if you're in an hour, like you got your timer set, if you're in an hour and Andrea's like out cold, not moving, dead, let him go a little longer because that extra sleep, what Peter found was that extra sleep was money because he could just go so much faster. I mean, and it ranged between an hour and 2 hours, but mostly right in that hour and a half range.
Okay.
Like if you get to an hour 15 and somebody's stirring, get them up, get them out because it's counterproductive. And that's what the crew could be doing. If you're out cold and dead, let you sleep as long as it makes sense to sleep, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. A lot of times she does a check-in is what we call it. Yep. And so maybe 15, 20 minutes before my time is up, she'll just say, she'll do a little nudge and I either wake up from the nudge and then we know, let's just take a few more minutes. If I don't wake up from the nudge, she'll let me keep sleeping.
That's exactly it.
So that's kind of a little code that we have.
Yeah. What I do is I just sit in the car. I'm sitting in the car while the person's sleeping, and then if they're moving around, you can tell if they're moving around, get them up. If they're dead, let them go a little longer because it's money.
No,
an hour and a half,
100%.
Yeah, that hour and a half of hard sleep seems to be magical, right?
It is magical, and I will say, my first dirt naps were in our first Cocodona, a couple of years ago. I'd never taken a dirt nap. I didn't know, is this okay? Are there bugs? Are there snakes? Is it okay? But you know what? You're so tired, it won't matter. And
I took one Sunday.
But what I found is just put your feet up on a rock so they're above your head. 8 minutes is the magic number. You don't need 10, you don't need 15. 8 minutes. Put your feet up and use your pack as your pillow and immediately close your eyes and start to deep breathe. Take real heavy breaths. 8 minutes is the secret number.
That's the number that works for you.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
That kind of makes sense because I remember one time I was crew was pacing Simon Matui, and I made him do a 4-minute nap. And it was magic for him, but boy, at 4 minutes, didn't know where he was when I woke him up.
No, no.
But
It's, some people, I mean, if you need longer, it's a solid investment to take a longer nap. I think it's hard sometimes, especially for the mid back of the pack. It's like, do I have time to do this?
yeah,
But to your point, Peter, you will move more efficiently if you just stop, take a moment, give your body a break, and then move forward.
yeah, we certainly saw that with Peter at Monster, because, he had 3 or 4 people he was running with the whole time. They were either ahead of him, they were just moving around, and he was just taking his
Yeah.
time. And I remember somebody said to him at one of the aid stations towards the end, and he said, "No, I got him right." And this was a remote one. He said, "No, I got him right where I want." It was an aid
Yep.
station worker, and he said,
Yep.
they're right where I want them to be," and because they were ahead of him, and he'd had a good rest, and it was like, okay, time to put the
Yep.
hammer down.
Yeah, he shared a bit of his sleep strategy when we were out there running together. He was pacing from Jerome to Deer
Yeah,
Pass, and that was magic. I learned so much in like 20 something miles than I probably ever have. Just watching him flow over the terrain, so smart, so efficient, and he literally was asking everyone that we came across if they'd had their Vespa lately because he knows what works. It was amazing. It was so super cool that he just genuinely cares about everyone on the race course and he wants them to have the best race that they can. But he shared a lot about his sleep strategy and how he would come into an aid station out front and he would sit down, he would start sleeping. He would wait for the next person behind him to come into the aid station and he would continue to sleep. He would let them leave the aid station first and he would immediately open his eyes and then he's like, okay, now it's time to go.
yep.
So he got so much more sleep than everybody. It's so smart. It was brilliant.